We are talking about the 2025 NFL Draft on today's show. What's going on, everybody? Welcome in the Vikings Now. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, we're going to dive into the latest mock draft from Field Yates and the latest mock draft from the Athletics. Bruce Feldman. Love both their picks for the Minnesota Vikings, so we'll share with you guys what they had to say, dive into these prospects, so stay tuned for all. But before we dive into it, if you guys want the Minnesota Vikings to crush this year's NFL Draft, put that icing on the cake of a beautiful offseason, go down there, hit that thumbs up icon, and put the goal on today's show as 500 likes. So if you guys could, hit that thumbs up button if you guys want the Minnesota Vikings to crush this year's NFL Draft. So before we dive into the mock drafts, I do want to just quickly take a look back and look at Kwesi's previous drafts. Because as we know, they have not been good. And honestly, when I was going back and looking at them, they might be even worse than a lot of us remember. So let's just fly through these here. We're going to start off with the 2022 draft class for the Vikings. A lot of misses on this list. You obviously got Lewis Cine, probably the biggest bust under the Kwesi Adofo-Mensah era. But Andrew Booth Jr., he'll be out of the league in a year. Ed Ingram, I mean, we just traded him for a 6th-round pick, and he was a 2nd-round pick. And then Brian Asamoah, he'll probably get cut during the roster cut-down date in August. Caleb Evans, we'll see there. Easy E, round 5, that ended up not working out. Ty Chandler was an okay pick for a 5th-round running back. Low, he ended up getting dealt to the Patriots. Jalen Naylor, 6th-round pick. That was probably the best one out of this entire draft class, and you had the legend Nick Muse there as well. But then we kick it to 2023 here. Another great draft pick, Jordan Addison. Now, listen, I don't want to give Kwesi like a ton of love for the Addison pick because I think he kind of walked into it. He ended up falling in the draft, and it was kind of an obvious pick there. But you also got Mekhi Blackman. Still a jury out on him if he ends up being a starting caliber cornerback like round 3. That was a great pick. But then you had Jay Ward, Jacqueline Roy, Jaron Hall. That was a miss in the 5th round. And you also had Dwayne McBride, who's hasn't made the roster just yet. And then we look at last year, J.J. McCarthy, Dallas Turner, still big question marks around both those guys. But if both those guys end up hitting, at premium positions as well, quarterback and edge rusher, we're looking at this class as a fantastic draft class. And you obviously had, Kyrie Jackson, rest in peace. Prayers go out to him. Then you had Walter Rouse in round 6, Will Reichard in round 6 as well. And then you had Michael Juergens, who could potentially be playing left guard for the Vikings this season. But he also had Levi Drake Rodriguez in the 7th round. So after looking at all that, my take here, and it's probably an obvious one. Probably a lot of you guys are thinking the same thing. But Kwesi needs to crush this year's NFL draft. Like that, whether that's that 1st-round pick at pick number 24 or he ends up trading back, you have to at least get 1 or 2 starters out of this draft class. Now, I understand they're kind of behind the 8 ball here. You only have 4 draft picks. You have 2 in the top 100. They have the least amount of draft capital out of any team in the NFL. But this is a big moment for Kwesi. He needs to have a good draft. And if he doesn't, even though the free agencies have been awesome, you're still going to be looking at them a little side-eyed and just saying, yeah, you can go sign all these free agents. You can, improve this roster immensely. But, Super Bowl teams are built through the draft. So hopefully he ends up doing that. But I ask you guys this. Be honest with me. Do you trust the GM? Do you trust Kwesi Adofo-Mensah? As it stands right now, heading into the NFL draft, how are you feeling? Give me a Y for yes. Give me an N for no. If you trust the general manager, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, I'll tell you what. I got faith in him. I think he's going to get it done. So I'll be typing my Ys down below. All right, let's dive into Field Yates' mock draft for the Minnesota Vikings. So he did a 2-round mock, but obviously the Vikes not having a 2nd-round pick. He had the Vikings taking at round 1, pick number 24, Texas cornerback Jahdae Barron. This guy's a stud. I would be thrilled if he ended up in a Vikings uniform. And this is what Field Yates had to say. Minnesota spent big to upgrade its defensive interior, but also has to ensure its secondary does not drop off too much in 2025. The cornerback room lost Stephon Gilmore and Shaq Griffin, and Byron Murphy, who returned on a new deal, is a better fit in the slot. Barron could claim one of the starting outside spots. He is one of the most instinctive players in this entire class, showing off an ability to find the football from any alignment. His versatility would surely appeal to defensive coordinator Brian Flores, and he posted 5 interceptions and 10 pass breakups in 2024. And actually here at Jet Sports, we had him at 16 pass breakups. A lot of those came in the college football playoffs. I don't know if Field was just referring to the 10 he had in the regular season. But Jahdae Barron's a hell of a football player. And he can pop inside, play some nickel corner. But I think his kind of bread and butter would be on the outside. And with them having versatile guys like Isaiah Rodgers who can play some inside corner, and then obviously Byron Murphy's fantastic in the slot. If you would hit on Jahdae Barron and he's that true lockdown corner, you would have one of the better corner tandems in the National Football League. And also, this guy's a freak athlete. I mean, the man ran a 4.39 40-yard dash at 5'11" or 5'10", 184 pounds. He's got great explosiveness. He's got really good arms as well, and he has always been productive for the Texas Longhorns. Now, we really saw his breakout season come this past year, kind of coming into his own self this past season, playing in all 16 games for the Texas Longhorns. But he did have, a 2023 season that was pretty solid as well. 7 pass breakups, 1 interception, even in his sophomore campaign, picking off the quarterback 2 times as well. But my take on Jahdae Barron, I think it's hard to believe that Jahdae Barron falls at pick 24. I think even a team like the Dolphins could take him at pick number 12. But if this is the selection, this would be a home run pick. This would be, I don't want to say best case scenario for the Vikings, but if Jahdae Barron, also I'll make the side note here, if Jahdae Barron's on the board and they don't take him and they decide to go somewhere else, I can almost guarantee that Asante Samuel will be picked up after the NFL draft. Maybe the Vikings, maybe it's true. Maybe they're just waiting until after the comp pick formula finalizes. But if it's Jahdae Barron, I think it's a home run pick. I would be a big fan of it. And coming up here in a second, we'll dive into Bruce Feldman's mock draft for the Minnesota Vikings. But before we do so, got to tell you guys about a sweet deal we got going on right now at chatsports.com/Vikings jersey, where you guys can pick up a Vikings jersey today. It could be J.J. McCarthy, Justin Jefferson, whatever it may be. But if you guys want to go rock the new quarterback number 1's jersey here in U.S. Bank Stadium, click that link down below. Got it for you guys in the comment section and description of today's show. All right, so Bruce Feldman, round 1, pick number 24, had the Vikings drafting a fan favorite here on the channel. He's a fan favorite for me, South Carolina safety Nick Emmanwori. Now, this guy, he is DK Metcalf playing safety. He's a freak athlete, great size with him. I mean, he looks like a freaking edge rusher, as you see right here, but he's playing safety, and this is what Bruce had to say, saying Minnesota has some terrific options here to bring in a young star safety to learn from Harrison Smith. I think the Vikings will go for the freak athlete, Emmanwori from South Carolina, over Georgia's standout Malachi Starks. The 6'3", 220-pound Emmanwori put on an awesome display at the Combine. Vertical jumping 43 inches, broad jump 11.6, and running a 4.38 40 with a 1.49 10-yard split to back up a staggering amount of production in the SEC. He made 88 tackles with 4 interceptions and 2 pick sixes in 2024. So, in terms of Emmanwori, I know somebody out there who would absolutely love this pick, and that being Brian Flores. Like, if you asked Flores right now, who do you want the Vikings to draft? I promise you, he would say Nick Emmanwori, just to get a guy who he can kind of mold into his own, potentially turn him into one of the top safeties in the league. And also, what better tutelage to have for a raw guy like Emmanwori? You got Flores. Then you got Harrison Smith in your ear. Like, I would be fully confident that the Vikings taking Nick Emmanwori at pick 24, getting him in this system where we could be looking back in a couple years and we're like, how did Nick Emmanwori not go top 10? The guy was 6'3". The guy reminds me of Cam Chancellor, and that's actually what Bruce Feldman had to say, saying Emmanwori gets compared to former Seahawks enforcer Cam Chancellor because of his size. But former Cardinal star Adrian Wilson, a 5-time Pro Bowler, is a better comp, according to South Carolina DC Clayton White. White played at NC State with Wilson, who had similar size and was a more dynamic athlete than Cam Chancellor. And, I see a little Cam Chancellor. I see a little Adrian Wilson in his game. But the point being with Nick Emmanwori is just the athleticism. I mean, everything's green on this RAS score sheet for a reason. 6'3", 220 pounds, had 20 reps on the bench press, ran a 4.38 40-yard dash with a ridiculous 10-yard split at 1.53. And, I fully believe this. Nick Emmanwori would be one of the best football players in the National Football League under Brian Flores. And screw it, I'll say it right now. My dream draft pick for the Vikings is Emmanwori. I love Kenneth Grant. I would love to go pick up a Gray Zabel, Tyler Booker on the offensive line. But if I was making the pick and all of these prospects are on the board at pick number 24, I would trust in that guy right there, Harrison Smith, and the Vikings culture turning Emmanwori into one of the better players the NFL has seen at the safety position. I think he has that much talent. I think this support system, this culture is that good to get it out of him. And we'll have to wait and see what the Vikings decide to do on draft night. But let me ask you guys this. Who would you draft? Are you going Jahdae Barron or are you going Nick Emmanwori? Give me a JB for Jahdae Barron or give me an NE for Nick Emmanwori. You guys let me know. I got to go Nick Emmanwori, though, on this one. But if you guys disagree with me, let me know your thoughts down below. Also, if you guys want to hit me up on Twitter, @PatSeeps is the Twitter handle. Give me a follow over there. I'll give you guys a follow right back. We'll see you guys next time. As always, let's go Vikes.